Hello everyone, welcome to my gardening channel. I have previously made a video about the purchase and subsequent processing of rose pots, which mentioned the operation process of rose semi-ground planting. In this video, I will use the climbing rose parade I just purchased as an example to demonstrate the actual operation of rose semi-ground planting. This parade was purchased from a nursery called Antique Rose Emporium in Texas. When I placed the order in early August 2024, the price was $29.95. And the shipping fee to my location in the eastern United States was $16.48. In order to ensure the survival rate, the nursery will not ship the roses ordered in the summer until the second week of September. When I was preparing the content of this video in mid-September 2024, I looked back at the parade page on the nursery's website and found that the nursery had quietly raised the price of its roses. All varieties of roses were uniformly raised by $5. The price increase was really surprising. Back to my parade rose, after receiving the seedling, the first step we have to do is to check whether the outer packaging is intact. If the packaging is damaged, it is recommended to take photos in time before opening the box, in case the rose in the box is also damaged, so as to keep it as a proof of rights protection with the merchant. The box of my rose is intact and the appearance is very clean. Fortunately, it was treated well during transportation. Next, we open the box from the top. Take a look at the packaging method of the nursery, and study how to take out the rose seedlings quickly and safely. The packaging method of this nursery is quite professional. A circle of interlayers is placed around the rose pot to prevent the flower pot from shifting during transportation and causing damage to the rose. This packaging method is not easy to take the rose out of the top of the box. We need to open the bottom of the box, keep the box upright, lift the box up, and the rose pot will naturally slide out of the box. Then we open this protective layer and check the condition of the rose. In order to reduce water evaporation and prevent the leaves from being squeezed, broken or rubbed during transportation, which will cause the rose to be in poor condition, the nursery will generally pull out the leaves of the potted rose before packing. This is a normal operation, and flower lovers don't have to worry. We just need to check whether the branches of the rose are strong and whether they are damaged. My 2-gallon parade is in good condition. It can be clearly seen that there is a strong branch as thick as a little finger, which proves that its growth in the nursery is still quite strong. After confirming that the variety is correct, we can cut off the label, remove the plastic layer on the outside of the flower pot, and take out the newspaper in the flower pot to protect the potting soil. In this way, the rose pot can wait for transplanting. Theoretically speaking, if conditions permit, climbing roses are best planted in the ground, but my rose is planted under a tree. In order to avoid the rose seedlings competing for nutrients too much with the big trees in the early stages of growth, I chose semi-ground planting as a second choice. Next, we prepare the flower pot. Since I won't be changing the pot again in the future, I specially chose a large resin flower pot for semi-ground planting. I chose the resin flower pot purely because it is easier to remove the bottom of the pot. You can also choose other flower pot materials according to your preferences. When removing the bottom of the pot, I first drilled several consecutive holes in the bottom of the pot with an electric drill, and then used a small electric saw to cut a circle along the outline of the bottom of the pot, so that the bottom of the pot was removed. Electric drills and electric saws are dangerous, so everyone must pay attention to safety when operating them. After the flower pot is ready, we need to dig a hole with a diameter slightly larger than the bottom diameter of the pot and a certain depth. My personal habit is to use a small hoe to dig the hole. Because the small hoe is easy to control the depth and width of the hole, and it does not require too much effort. When you encounter a stone, you can dig it out easily. So I recommend girls with less strength to try it. When the hole is almost dug, put the flower pot in to test the size and depth, and then slightly adjust it to the best state. Next we prepare the planting medium. The materials I use are garden soil, coconut coir, fine sand, peat soil, cow manure and eggshells. These materials are slightly processed and mixed in a certain proportion as the planting medium for this semi-ground planting. First, let's deal with the coconut coir. Remove the outer packaging of the coconut bricks and put them into a bucket. You can add some water to the bucket in advance, or you can put the coconut bricks in first and then add water. The principle of adding water is to add small amounts multiple times, and constantly adjust the amount of water added according to the actual state of the coconut coir until the coconut bricks are fully soaked. The soaking time of coconut bricks varies depending on the variety purchased and the amount of soaking, but it takes at least 10 minutes. While waiting for the coconut bricks to soak, we can pre-treat the eggshells. Grab 3 or 5 eggshells in your hand and crush them with a little force. Eggshells are rich in calcium, which can provide the necessary calcium for the growth of roses. In addition, eggshells are slightly alkaline, which can neutralize over acidic soil and help adjust the pH value of the soil. Eggshell fragments can also play a certain physical protective role. It can prevent some soft-bodied pests, such as snails, slugs, etc., from attacking roses because they don't like to crawl over these sharp fragments. After crushing the eggshells and mixing them into the soil, it can also increase the looseness of the soil and improve the drainage and air permeability of the soil. This helps to avoid soil compaction, thereby creating a healthier growth environment for the roots of roses. Adding perlite to the soil can also help improve air permeability. But perlite is easily broken into smaller particles or even powder after long-term use, especially when the soil is frequently watered or compacted. This will reduce its original function of improving air permeability and drainage, affecting the looseness of the soil and the ventilation of the rose roots. I will not repot this rose in the future, so I did not use perlite for the soil this time, but chose eggshells with a more stable physical structure. Let's check the expansion state of coconut bricks. Well-expanded coconut bricks should be loose and moist. After fully absorbing water, the compressed coconut bricks will expand several times to form a soft medium similar to soil, which is usually dark brown or medium brown in color. It has a light and loose texture, good air permeability and water retention. Next, we will prepare the soil. My soil mix is 3 parts garden soil, 3 parts coconut coir, 1 part cow manure, 1 part fine sand, 1 part peat soil and 1 part eggshell fragments. Garden soil is the basic planting medium for most plants, providing basic nutrients and a stable structure. Coconut coir is an organic material made from coconut shells, mainly used to improve soil aeration and water retention. Cow manure is a natural fertilizer rich in organic matter and nutrients, which can improve soil fertility. The main function of fine sand is to improve soil drainage and air permeability. Peat soil is formed by the accumulation and decomposition of plant residues. It is rich in organic matter and can provide plants with a long-lasting supply of nutrients. We have already mentioned the role of eggshells, which can provide plants with calcium and improve the alkalinity of the soil, prevent pests and improve soil drainage and air permeability. It should be noted that cow manure must be fully decomposed for more than 1 year, otherwise it is very easy to burn the seedlings. If you are not sure about the degree of decomposition of cow manure, you can also not add it. In the future, applying slow-release fertilizer and water-soluble fertilizer can also provide sufficient nutrition for the growth of roses. Mix the above materials thoroughly and pour them into the semi-ground planted flower pot. Because I am not very strong, I mixed the various materials in batches in the same proportion and filled the flower pot until it was basically filled. If you can mix all the materials at once, it will be a better operation. When the flower pot is basically filled, we dig a hole in the center of the pot soil that is slightly larger than the diameter of the bottom of the rose pot seedling pot. In preparation for the rose transplant, this hole does not need to be too deep. Next, we will put the rose pot seedling with its own soil ball on it, and then cover it with a layer of topsoil. When transplanting, you can plant it a little higher. Later, with watering and the natural settlement of the pot soil, the entire rose plant will sink slightly, making room for covering the surface of the flower pot with new soil and fertilizer. In order to make the rose plant easier to remove from the pot, we can gently tap the pot wall. Then turn the flower pot upside down, hold the soil ball firmly with one hand, and quickly pull the flower pot out with the other hand. Then put the rose plant out of the pot into the dug hole, adjust the direction of the plant, and finally fill the entire large flower pot with some planting soil. Next, we cover the surrounding areas of the flower pot with soil. Use fine soil to fill the gap between the flower pot and the ground, and fix the flower pot. Finally, we water the newly planted roses with rooting water. Use a sprinkler to gently spray the surface of the pot soil until you find water on the top of the soil, then stop watering. Wait a few seconds for the water to slowly seep into the soil, then water for a few seconds, and wait again when you find water. Repeat this process many times until the pot soil is completely irrigated. Through the watering of rooting water, the moisture in the soil can tightly wrap the soil particles around the plant roots, ensuring that the roots are fixed in the planting position and are not blown by the wind or droop due to excessive gravity. Rooting water can also help eliminate the gaps around the roots, increase the contact area between the roots and the soil, and improve the efficiency of the roots in absorbing water and nutrients. The roots of newly transplanted plants are fragile, and watering them with rooting water can also help alleviate the stress response caused by root damage during transplanting, and help plants adapt to the new environment as soon as possible. Well, the above is the whole process and precautions of the Rose Parade semi-ground planting. I hope it will be helpful and inspiring to everyone. If you like my video, please subscribe, like, comment and forward it. See you next time.